Who the hell do you think you are? Where have you heard that question before? Sometimes you might hear that question just as you're about to do something really important in your life. You're about to make a change that you've been wanting to make for a really long time. You're about to end that thing that you know dang well needs to be ended. Man, you're about to step out on a limb, try something new, put yourself out there, right? Any number of anything. Take a stand for something, just do something different, mix it up. And that little voice or very loud voice, however it shows up for you, sneaks in and punches you in the gut, takes the wind out of your sails and says, who the hell do you think you are to do that? I'm Heidi, by the way, and I've dedicated my life to actually shutting that tape up in my head. That would make me doubt myself, lose my power, and feel like I wasn't able to do the things that I really wanted to do, put myself out there and have the things that I really wanted to have in my life. Now I've dedicated my life to doing the same for you. My goal is to help you together through these Teaching Tuesday videos, these free content things that I come and do, is actually to give you some really good wisdom today. All right. Because the goal at the end of these little sessions together is to help you root down in your power, find your truth, root into your real value so that you never settle again, you stop self-sacrificing, sucking it up, and that you can have the life and relationships that you really deserve, because guess what? That's your birthright. So yeah, for the last 20 years, I've dedicated my life to figuring out where do those voices come from, how do they really hold us back, and how to rip them up by the root and eradicate them once and for all. And so I'm really glad that you're here. You know, it's a really good question. Who the hell do you think you are? It's actually a really good question. In the worst case scenario, it comes in to keep you small, squish you down, and ruin your life, right? But it's also one of these things that's a protective mechanism. There's an element of, well, are you sure you want to do that? Kind of be careful. But for most of us and most of the people that I help, that voice is a long-standing voice that's come from many years. Some of my clients have experienced significant trauma or challenges in their life. And that who the hell do you think you are isn't necessarily a positive trying to help them figure it out. It's literally like trying to put the smack down on you, take the wind out of your sails, like we talked about, ruin your self-esteem. So later on soon, I'm actually going to be doing, as creator of Life School, what is that? Okay, Life School is Love Yourself First Empowerment School. And in my school, whether you ever come through or not, there are 3 master keys that we use within this school in order to help you break free from any of those old patterns or old conditioning that keep you stuck from having the life you deserve. And soon I'm going to be giving a masterclass where I'm going to actually talk about these 3 keys. If you want to sign up for that, go over to lovecoachheidi.com and sign up. Today, I'm going to give you one of the keys. All right, for free. I'm just going to give it to you because I know that if I give it to you, and if I impart this wisdom on you and you apply it, it could start, this new understanding could start to shift something for you right away. And that's really the goal at the end of the day, right? Is to help as many people as possible. But if you want to sign up for that class and go deeper, go on over to lovecoachheidi.com and make sure you sign up. Okay. So what are the 3 keys? Well, the first key that we talk about within Life School, Love Yourself First Empowerment, is know thyself. Now, this isn't new information, right? Know thyself. Where does it come from? Well, look, I have my notes here. Aristotle said, to know yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Lao Tzu, who was credited with writing the Tao Te Ching, said, knowing others is intelligence, knowing yourself is true wisdom. Thales, who was a philosopher before Socrates, said the most difficult thing in life is to know yourself. And there's so much more. Nelson Mandela talked about learn to know yourself, to search realistically and regularly the processes of your own mind and feelings. D.H. Lawrence said, you've got to know yourself so you can at least be yourself. Look, honey, the list goes on and on. So this isn't my new information. The problem is, how the heck do you do that? Because I hear all this divine wisdom, but I'm a systems girl. I want to know, well, how do I know myself? And most of us really have no idea who the hell we are. Okay, that's why we say, who the hell do you think you are? We really have no clue. And most of us, I've come to believe in the 20 years that I've been doing this work on self-esteem and recovery in all different types of ways from all different types of things and relationship work, what I've come to understand is that most of us are not who we are. We're actually who we've needed to be. And what I've discovered through the course of my work, there are actually 8 different attachment personality patterns that we take on in an attempt to thrive, survive, connect, or cope in our family of origin. And we go through life with these personality patterns, and these are the root causes of all of our relationship problems. All of our dysfunctional behavior stems from these apps, attachment personality patterns. So I'm going to be going through some of these with you. Of course, if you enroll in Life School, you get access to all the personality patterns, and we figure out which ones you really are and apply them to your own life. So it goes much, much deeper, but I want to give you an understanding today. This is going to be a 4-part series where we're going to discuss 2 different attachment personality patterns per video. So let's go ahead. Which ones do I want to talk about today? I want to talk about 2 personality patterns with you, but I just don't want to discuss them with you. I want to show you how they're potentially operating in your own life. So let's take a quick pause and I'll be right back. Wow, what a quick break. All right, I'm going to show you 2 different personality patterns today and how they are potentially operating in your own life. So the first personality pattern that we take on is called the fixer. And as you can imagine, what would a fixer what would a fixer be doing, right? If you're a fixer in your life, you likely have projects instead of people. You are very adept at figuring out who has the problems because you attract them like bees to flowers, right? And you end up oftentimes finding yourself running to the rescue in your relationships to try to save the freaking day. So all the time you're running to the rescue. You're taking on people that are, now look, people aren't broken, but you will find people who have problems to solve problems as people. You look at people as riddles to be solved in your personal life, okay? So you attract relationships where they just can't seem to get their stuff together. And if you just knew that if they could turn it around, you could be the one to really show them their fullest absolute potential. You are adept at searching out what needs to be done in other people to fix things. Now, it can be positive for you as a fixer, right? You can fix companies, you can fix cars. People is another story. And so constantly trying to be a fixer in your own life, running to the rescue, trying to save the day, trying to save people from themselves, trying to get people the help they need, and they just don't take it all the time. What does that lead to for you? Well, it leads to total resentment. You're in these relationships with these people that you give advice to and you know what they need to be doing. You're controlling, by the way. You're trying to control their behavior. And when it doesn't work, you end up feeling full of rage, anger. You're angry. If they just do that dang thing you tell them to do, everything would be great, but they refuse to take your advice. So resentment settles in, rage settles in, feeling actually like you're being disrespected. You have that feeling taking over. You could feel used, abused, taken advantage of. You keep saving them over and over again, but they can't get it together. And so you feel like you're constantly being taken advantage of, right? And then how do you feel as a result of that behavior? You feel here, and then what do you do to cope with your feelings? Well, some heroes get to that point where they become the angel and the devil, right? They're so good in their own lives. They're on top of everything. But when the hits the fan for them, that's where here a hero will check out. They'll numb themselves. They'll actually go to the dark side, okay? And they'll become that person that's like running this pattern that's called a crazy 8, where they're up here, they're living their life, they're fixing everything, they're running to the rescue, they're trying to solve everything, it doesn't work, then they self-sabotage. They realize what's the point, they run, they numb, they rage, they drink, they over-medicate, and then they go, well, that's not me, I can fix, let me focus on other people to solve my problem. So the problem with the hero is that they're never really looking at their own life, they're always looking at the lives of other people. This behavior only works for so long, checking out and numbing themselves and trying to get a break from fixing everything. And then they feel like a loser. And then they get back on, let me be the fixer train again. I can't have this many problems in my own life. Let me go find somebody else to fix. And so that's how that pattern works for them. The other personality pattern I want to talk about today is the people pleaser. I know you can't see that because it's cut off, but you can imagine that says people pleaser. So with a people pleaser, this is a person where a hero is like more like in your face. I'm going to come tell you what to do. I'm going to fix all the world's problems. They're not shy about running to the rescue. A people pleaser will see the problems or see what's going on, but they'll bite their tongue because their thing is don't rock the boat. They don't want to get people mad at them. So they keep opinions and feelings and thoughts to themselves when they are different than other people's opinions, thoughts, or beliefs, because they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to upset the apple cart. They don't want people not to like them. That's their primary goal. The fixer just wants you to be better. Doesn't care if you like them or not, right? They know the solution. The people pleaser's like, ooh. So they take on more than they want to. They don't have no boundaries. They say yes when they want to say no. They're constantly overextending themselves. Well, what does that mean? That means then ultimately with this person, how does that feel when it doesn't work and people don't reciprocate the love back to you that you give out? You're the one that's always going the extra mile, but then when it's time for you, there's crickets. Nobody's there for you, okay? So what does that do? Well, that ends up actually making you feel lonely, depressed, isolated, like it's unfair. And you feel sad, right? And so then how do you cope? Well, maybe you might do the same things. You might numb, you might extra please, you might constantly betray yourself when you know better and go back in and try even harder. You might cling when you feel like somebody's leaving you. That might make you feel going in even deeper, and trying to remedy and fix it and keep tolerating and settling. And then what happens is that you just jump right back into this. You can't have these bad feelings. So you need to be like, okay, let me get the love and approval of other people. Both of these have one thing in common. They actually have the same root issue. Okay, so the personality pattern is the behavior that we take on to cope with the root issue. What's the root issue? Who the hell do you think you are? And when you take time to answer that question, when you're at your absolute lowest point, what you'll discover is, who the hell do I think I am? I'm not enough. I'm unlovable. Now, you might not know this off the rip, and that's why life school is such a great thing, because in life school, Love Yourself First Empowerment, we actually uncover your root cause of all your dysfunctional or unhealthy behavior. We figure out what it is and rip it up once and for all. It's not a Band-Aid on a flesh wound, not a quick fix. It's a process. It's actually a 12-week process that we go through. But imagine that. Imagine dedicating your 12 weeks of your life to something that's been plaguing you your entire life and actually getting the results you need to break free for good. Isn't that worth the time and investment that you would make? I think so, for sure. So if you're curious about that, go over to lovecoachheidi.com to learn more. But underneath it here, this root cause of I'm not enough and I'm unlovable is exactly the reason that we work on loving yourself first. So if you can change your perspective, and not in a bull crappy kind of way where you're like, oh, I'm just going to do enough affirmations. I'm enough. Everybody loves me. Oh, but in a believable way to uncover the real truth about you. The truth about who you are, what your true nature is, what your birthright is, who you are at your core without this behavior you've needed to take on in order to get the love you so desperately wanted or want in your life. Because that's all this is a lame attempt to get love. But if we can help uncover the truth about who you are, who the hell you really are, then all of this behavior will resolve itself and you won't have to keep trying so hard all the time, swimming upstream, feeling like you're struggling in your relationships. So for today, what do I want you to do? Number one, I want you to sign up for the workshop that's coming up, the free masterclass, so that you can understand the 3 whole keys. This is just know yourself. Okay, you want to learn how to be yourself and then love yourself. Those are the 3 keys. But today we're just on know yourself. So go sign up for that workshop so you can keep learning more and more and more. That whether or not you ever join us in life school or not, you'll start to be able to do this work on your own, whether you do it with us supported or do it on your own. I'm giving you the information. All right. Make sure you go over to lovecoachheidi.com to further your understanding of this. Meet me back here for next Teaching Tuesday. We're going to go over 2 more personality patterns together. In the meantime, leave me a comment. Can you relate to either one of these patterns? How has it shown up in your life? And what is your price that you've been paying? How have you been handling that, coping with it? Okay. All right. I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday or in my masterclass that I have coming up. Space is limited, so make sure you sign up now. Okay. Bye-bye.